Sugar industry is big business, big business. So the average American eats about 20 teaspoons of sugar per day. This is the equivalent of about a half a cup of sugar. A half a cup of sugar. And that's the average. So for me, that's somebody that doesn't eat any or tries not to eat any, there's somebody else that's eating twice as much as what I do. That's a whole lot of sugar. So a recent new investigation reveals the sugar industry successfully blamed fat for heart disease using skewed science, when sugar is the main culprit. Now, I don't know how new this study is. We've actually known about this for a pretty long time, or I guess there's not really been any evidence, so that's kind of where this comes out. But this is how many things in traditional healthcare work. They find out that certain health beliefs are really antiquated and sometimes backed up by false research, such as the cigarettes. So this corporate deceit triggered more than 50 years of a nutritional low-fat policy that helped make Americans the fattest and most chronically ill population on the planet, thanks to diets high in sugar and processed carbohydrates. Sadly, it is still a belief touted by many doctors and doctors' offices. Old habits die hard, especially with doctors. So using tactics similar to those of the tobacco industry, the sugar industry funded research that downplayed the role of sugar consumption in raising levels of fat in the blood and did not disclose findings that linked sugar with heart disease. The industry's own animal studies showed high sugar diets increased triglyceride levels, thus raising the risk of heart attack and stroke, and also increased the risk of bladder cancer. They pulled the plug on the study before it could be completed. Convenient. Now, the Washington, D.C. based Sugar Association said the study was stopped because it was over budget and coincided with the restructuring of the Sugar Research Foundation. It also said scientific recommendations to limit sugar to no more than 10% of daily calories are out of bounds. Very convenient. Now, had the study been completed, it could have led to further research and policies that put the welfare of American citizens, not the sugar and processed food industries, first. Now, that's a novel idea, but you know how it goes. Profit before people. This could have saved millions of Americans and their families from the heartbreak and devastation of sugar-related diseases such as obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. We can see another telling example in a 2018 European study that shows a significant correlation between the amount of processed foods people keep in their homes and obesity and related diseases. Though Americans and Europeans have surprisingly eaten roughly the same number of calories over the decades, significantly more Americans than Europeans are obese and ill thanks to corrupt marketing and nutritional policy. So while the policies of the last several decades have steadily made Americans fatter and sicker, they have also been the fuel for the multi-billion-dollar weight loss industry that arose in response to the collective weight gain. Sugar content simply replaced fat calories in fat-free foods dominating the shelves. The trouble with foods high in sugar and processed carbs, which are essentially sugar once ingested, is not only do they make people fatter, but they also trigger a hormonal cascade that increases sugar cravings while turning off the satiety hormones, gastrin and leptin, so that one feels constantly hungry. Diets have been shown to fail most people in sustained weight loss and even trigger eating disorders. The low-fat, high-carb diet sends you on a downward spiral that ends in a foundation for chronic disease based on high inflammation, accelerated brain degeneration, and metabolic imbalances. In functional medicine, we see a myriad of chronic disorders that can be significantly improved or even reversed simply by stabilizing blood sugar and saying goodbye to the standard American diet, also known as the SAD diet, in favor of a whole foods diet. Sometimes this is a simple endeavor. Other times, such as in chronic issues, you will have a lot of help and need more than a simple diet modification. So I asked my office for advice on the best diet for your chronic health condition. They're not all the same, and not everybody should do the same food plan, let's call it. I've included a short list of some books on the topic of sugar and how they can affect your health and may be of help. So the Grain Brain, Eat Fat, Get Thin, Why Isn't My Brain Working, The End of Alzheimer's, which is probably one of my favorite, most recent books. It's a little more technical, but for the average reader, but it's really good stuff. These books are not specific to just sugar and its dangers, but a large part of them deals with sugar. Now, go eat some fat. I'm Dr. Craig Mortensen. Be healthy, be happy.